know I got the receipts, girl. You know I got the receipts.
All right, guys. Welcome back to the Sweet Pea Diaries. It's your girl Sweet Pea, and I am back with another video. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back to my channel. And if you are a new subscriber, welcome to the Sweet Pea Diaries. Be sure to like the video, share the video, but most importantly, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Oh boy. So this is a little disturbing. Of course, I am it is my birthday, so thank you. I am enjoying my day. First off, hi Dina. Hey Mimi. Hey Joy. Hey Alea. The backup channel is where we have been at, so much so that my main channel, I'm not in the algorithm anymore. So I thought, let me come over here to the main channel and make sure that I start putting out some content so we don't fall out of the algorithm, honey, because I have been gone, have been absent. So I'm going to start putting up content over here. And I think on my backup channel, we have our beef and everything, but I'm going to start focusing on my surviving series, the surviving YouTube series over there, and try to pay some attention to my main channel. So I figured I'd come over here and talk about what is going on with Shanquella Robinson. The U.S. authorities say they will not be seeking any charges, any criminal charges, in the death of Shanquella Robinson. They are saying that there is not enough evidence to support charges. So we're going to read an article from the New York Post, and then I'm going to give my commentary and my thoughts on this and what I think about this. And again, thank you everyone to all of the birthday wishes, all of the birthday love. I am, thank you for the Cash App. I am receiving all of your kind words, messages, DMs. I woke up today to a DM from Monique Slaughter. I was so happy and thrilled about that. She actually was recommending, and she posted her and our interview that we did together. She posted it on her story. And so I DM'd her. I said, was there a reason for this? Like, what's going on? And she basically said that she's promoting her book. She has a book that she came out with, and she's going through different clips and interviews and things that she did. And she, you know, I guess was looking at ours that we did together. And so that is what prompted her posting that to her story. So, yeah, go check out that interview if you have not already. It's on this channel. Me and Monique, we did that last year, or no, 2021. So go ahead and check that out if you have not done so. It's a great interview. Great interview. All right, so let me share my screen. Oh, this is really just terrible. This is just terrible. I don't understand. I don't understand how they say that there's just not enough evidence to support. I'm sorry. I don't get it. All right. So the New York Post says U.S. authorities will not seek charges in the death of Shanquella Robinson. All right. Now, this was the White House speaking on this back in March.
To Miss Robinson's family and friends. It is devastating what occurred, and certainly uh, the tragedy is just devastating. And we've been following the news here, but because there's an FBI investigation underway, there's very little that we can say. We got to, as you know, we are very careful about. Criminal investigations or any investigations that are currently happening through DOJ, in this particular case, FBI. But our hearts go out again, to the families.
Children's Allegra.
So it says U.S. authorities will not seek charges in the death of Shanquella Robinson in Mexico. U.S. federal prosecutors will not pursue charges in the death of a North Carolina woman who died after being beaten in a hotel room while vacationing in Cabo, Mexico, reports said today, Wednesday. Department of Justice prosecutors met with the family of Shanquella Robinson and told them that after careful deliberation, they determined that there was not enough evidence to seek charges in the case. Now, as in every case under consideration for federal prosecution, the government must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that a federal crime was committed. Federal prosecutors in North Carolina said, according to local reports. Now, based on the results of the autopsy and after a careful deliberation and review of the investigative materials by both the U.S. Attorney's offices, federal prosecutors informed Ms. Robinson's family today that the available evidence does not support a federal prosecution. Now, she was 25. She was found dead in a hotel room in Mexico in a resort in October of last year. She was actually a clothing designer. She traveled to Cabo San Lucas for vacation with 6 of her friends, and her death was originally thought to be related to alcohol poisoning. So it says federal prosecutors will reportedly not pursue charges related to the death of Shanquella Robinson, the North Carolina woman who died while on vacation in Mexico of last year. And they just captioned that under her photo there. She's really beautiful. And this is her family. It says DOJ prosecutors told the family of Robinson that there isn't enough evidence to pursue charges. And then that was her casket. And then this is, of course, the deadly assault. Autopsy determined that she died from trauma suffered in this attack. And we all know the story. The video shows Robinson getting beaten by another woman in her hotel room in Cabo. And we know that, all of the footage that we all saw surrounding it and everything, that all the videos that came after. A death certificate later said that Robinson suffered severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation, or damage to a neck vertebrae. Disturbing video footage from inside of her hotel room later revealed that one of the women she traveled to Mexico with had savagely beaten her inside the room. A person off the camera yelled, "At least fight back," while the woman trounced Robinson, according to the viral video. A final autopsy determined that Shanquella likely died from trauma suffered during the beating about 15 minutes later. An arrest warrant was issued for an unnamed person in Mexico, but no one was ever busted in the case. So basically, nothing has ever happened in this situation. No one's ever been charged. No one ever has been arrested. Nothing has ever happened with this situation. Now, for the U.S. to say that there is not enough evidence to seek criminal charges, if the autopsy states that she was beaten and that she died from injuries related to the beating, how is that not enough evidence to seek charges? I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. That's contradictory. If the autopsy states that she died from that beating as a result, how is that not enough? How? Now, I can see them saying, well, this didn't happen on U.S. soil. It happened in Mexico, blah, 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 blah. But you can't say that there's not enough evidence when the freaking autopsy literally states she passed as a result of those injuries. So I'm just like, where are they getting that from? That it's not enough evidence to seek charges. And the fact that no one has ever been held responsible for this is just a slap in the face to the family. I mean, no one has been held responsible for their daughter's death, for anything that happened over there in that resort. I mean, the friends, when they came home, it just seems like something else it's something else going on. Something seems like it's underlining more sinister with this situation. It was just always surrounded by controversy and mystery anyway, you know what I'm saying? So the fact that we're here with this verdict, that in this determination by the US that there's not enough evidence to seek charges, is bullcrap to me. I don't know where they're getting this. I just don't understand. So there was another article that I'm going to read that kind of like gave a little bit more. So let me get that real quick. Hold on one second. So CBS News says, U.S. authorities will not pursue charges in death of Shanquella Robinson. Prosecutors in the United States will not bring charges in what was previously a federal investigation into the death of Shanquella Robinson, a woman from Charlotte, North Carolina, while in Mexico of last October. So that's an important statement to me right there. That opening statement that says the United States will not bring charges in what was previously a federal investigation. So this was previously an investigation. It's not now. So are you telling me that this investigation is basically closed? It was a federal investigation. It no longer is. They're not bringing charges. So this thing is basically done. It's over. Basically, that's what they're saying. So officials with U.S. attorneys' offices in 2 districts in North Carolina announced the decision in a statement on Wednesday, which was today, issued shortly before the woman's family members were scheduled to speak about the probe and Robinson's killing at a televised news conference. So they told the family the news right before they were scheduled to go on camera and give a statement. They said the investigation into the circumstances surrounding the death of Miss Robinson has been a priority for federal prosecutors and the FBI, read the statement issued by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of North Carolina. As in every case under consideration for federal prosecution, the government must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that a federal crime was committed based on the results of the autopsy and after a careful deliberation and review of the investigative materials by both the U.S. Attorney's Office. Federal prosecutors informed Ms. Robinson's family today that the available evidence does not support a federal prosecution. Citing a detailed and thorough investigation and an autopsy conducted by the medical examiner's office in North Carolina's Mecklenburg County, officials said that they found that the available evidence does not support a federal prosecution. Now, speaking on behalf of Robinson's family at Little Rock AME Zion Church in Charlotte on Wednesday afternoon, attorney Sue Ann Robinson said that they were disappointed but not deterred by the outcome of the U.S. investigation, and they would continue to seek justice in the wake of the killing. The attorney also shared that the decision by U.S. authorities not to press charges partly relied on the results of the domestic autopsy following an initial autopsy conducted in Mexico. The U.S. post-mortem exam was conducted after Robinson's body had been embalmed and transported back to America, which means that there was a delay, obviously, the attorney said, adding that it ruled Robinson's cause of death undetermined. So this basically means that the autopsy that they did in Mexico that cited that she passed because of, as a result of the beating. Once they brought her body to America, they embalmed it. They then did an autopsy after it had been embalmed. I don't understand, why would you do an autopsy after the embalming? So they did the autopsy after that, and I'm that tells me as soon as her body was brought over here, there was no immediate, autopsy done of her body. They must have did that after her funeral, or they must have did it right before the funeral, because the embalming is done for funeral purposes. So the fact that they didn't do that right away, that's something right there to be questioned. That's red flags raised right there. Why wasn't her body immediately an autopsy done as soon as she reached U.S. soil? That tells me, was the FBI immediately on this as soon as she got here? No. The family must have had to, press the issue. The FBI or the U.S. didn't seem to be worried about this at all. Having such a delay. So federal prosecutors and authorities at the Federal Bureau of Investigation opened a probe into the circumstances surrounding Robinson's death in November, about 3 weeks after the situation had happened. The FBI confirmed in a statement to CBS News at that time that on or about October 29th in San Cabo, St. Lucas, she had died, Shanquella. The previous week, authorities in Mexico had said that her death occurred in San Jose del Cabo, located about 20 miles northeast of Cabo San Lucas, in the same Mexican state of Baja California Sur. So the FBI was saying that it occurred in Cabo San Lucas, but the Mexican authorities said that it occurred in San Jose del Cabo, which is actually 20 miles northeast of Cabo San Lucas. Now, the Mexican prosecutors opened an investigation into Robinson's death a few days earlier. By then, news of her killing had garnered considerable public and global attention, owing to a viral cell phone video that showed Robinson being violently assaulted, apparently at the luxury villa where she was staying while on vacation. She had traveled from U.S. to Mexico with a group of 6 friends, some of whom initially told Robinson's parents that she had died from alcohol poisoning. However, the death certificate later listed a spinal and neck injury as the cause. The attorney for Robinson's family said on Wednesday that the U.S. autopsy did not identify a spinal cord injury, although she called it disheartening. U.S. authorities allowed that there to be such. Although she called it disheartening, that U.S. authorities allowed there to be such a delay in this case, and noted that delays can lead to discrepancies. So that's what Shanquella Robinson's family attorney said on Wednesday, that the U.S. autopsy did not identify a spinal cord injury as part of the cause of death. Now, because it had taken so long for them to do the autopsy, this is what has led to discrepancies. Okay? Now, authorities in Mexico said in November that they were investigating Robinson's death as a femicide, a crime that refers to the killing of a woman because of her gender. In a statement released at the time, prosecutors in Baja California said they were seeking an extradition of a woman from the U.S. back to Mexico in connection with the alleged murder. So this is just horrible. This is just a terrible situation. I do not understand it. I don't understand how there is not enough evidence. But like I said, the autopsy that was done in Mexico is not the same. The results are different from the autopsy that was done in the U.S. By the time her body's gotten over here, they did not do the autopsy till after the embalming. So there are different results. The results of the autopsy here, they do not state that the beating, the spinal cord injury, any of that was a cause of death. They actually have her cause of death listed as undetermined. Okay? So in my opinion, it just seems like the US, the federal government over here, was freaking working against the family, working against Shanquella. Why? For what? What's the reason for that? Because it's obvious the woman died. You can see she died as a result of what happened in that room. She died as the result of her friends setting her up and beating her to death. That's what she died from. I don't care if the autopsy differs from what happened in Mexico and the autopsy differs from the autopsy here in the United States. That damn video don't change. What happened don't change. We know what happened. They know what happened. The evidence on that video shows what happens. So we already know post-mortem, all these things, all this stuff is going to set in. So scientifically and medically, if they know this, then why would they say that because of the difference, that's not enough evidence? Well, you know that her body has changed, the composition and everything has changed. So that would be, in my opinion, all of the reason that it would have been the autopsy in Mexico that should have been used to determine the cause of death. But see, I get it with the jurisdictions that, it's outside of the US, so they have to have a US autopsy to go with their federal investigation. I get that. But because of the circumstances that this happened outside of the country and that it was time going past, with in the body settling different, composition is different. I just think that the autopsy that they did in Mexico, that's what they should have used to determine the situation, to determine whether or not criminal charges should have been filed. They haven't arrested nobody. They ain't brought nobody in for questioning, nothing. So I don't know. The attorney for the family, they state that they're going to still keep moving forward. This is disheartening, but they said they are not giving up. So what are your thoughts, you guys? Drop in the comments and let me know. Drop in the chat and let me know. What are your thoughts about this? I mean, no justice for Shanquella. They say it's not enough evidence to seek charges. So I'm interested to know what you think about that. Drop down in the comments and let me know. As always, be sure to like the video, share the video. Most importantly, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Justice for Shanquella Robinson, you guys. And I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.